Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Please accept my humble obeisances and glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Danvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev.
All glories to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. Whose turn is it to read, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, which slok number? Today, Mataji, we have to read Canto 3, text 1 and 2, chapter 1.
Okay, thank you.
It's very short, but I was trying to respond to Ruchi Mataji's. She had suggested that we start going slow, that we start slowing down so we can have more discussion. So this week I did that, and hopefully it works well. So just wanted to give heads up. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, shall we start with the prayers?
Yes, Mataji.
I don't remember the exact everything. Can somebody please read the prayers?
Okay, Mataji, I'll start. Om Ajnana Timiranda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Advaita Gadadhara Vasadi Gaura Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama
रामा हरे नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासां नष्टप्रायेषु
Okay. Shall I start, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. We are reading Canto 3, Chapter 1 and Text 1 and 2 today. So, till now, and it is all about questions by Vidura. And till now, we read in before also the topic of Vidura came in Canto 1, Chapter 13. There it was just mentioned about that Vidura came from many years of pilgrimage back to home, and he kind of preached Dhritarashtra to renunciate everything and go back to forest. So when actually Vidura came back from pilgrimage, he was loved and respected by all the Pandavas, but he actually did not came back to receive that love. His purpose was to strongly preach the Dhritarashtra and to tell him to come out of the place, a place of luxury, as he was becoming old and he was still enjoying material life. So he wanted to help Dhritarashtra and Gandhari in that way. So, about this we already read in Canto 1, Chapter 13. It was some discussion about Vidura was there, and so after when receiving preaching from Vidura, Dhritarashtra and Gandhari left in the middle of the night for renunciation, and left everything into the and went into the forest. And so, and then in Canto 2, it was all about universal discussion, creation of universe, and the end of Canto 2 again, the Sunaka Rishi and the sages at the Nemisaranya, they inquired again about the Vidura at the end of Canto 2, because Sunaka Rishi, he was among the very great sages there. He was continuously inquiring more and more about Krishna. So here again at the Canto 2 ending, Sunaka Rishi again, while they were discussing about the universes, how the universe created and everything, basically they were again in Canto 2, it is all about the Krishna's extended energies, external energies, creations and everything. And Sunaka Rishi, somehow he's always very interested to know about Krishna, stories about Krishna. So here again, he is again inquiring about Vidura, because Vidura was a very great sage and devotee, and he knew that Sunaka Rishi knew that this discussion between the devotees is always the most transcendental, topmost topic, that is always about the Lord. So he was very interested to know about that topic. What was the discussion between Vidura and the Maitreya Rishi? So he wanted to inquire those topics. So at the end of Canto 2, again Sunaka Rishi inquired to Suta Goswami what was the discussion about between Vidura and Maitreya Rishi, and why did Vidura came back. These all questions are will be discussed in this canto. So we'll start with the translation of with the text one. Shri Suka Uvacha Eva etat pura prasto Maitriyo Bhagwan Kalila Kristravanam Pravistena Krishtava Swagraham Radhimat. Translation. Sukdev Goswami said, after renouncing his prosperous home and entering the forest, King Vidura, the great devotee, asked his questions of his great Maitreya Rishi. So now again, Suta Goswami, when Sunaka asked Suta Goswami about the questions. Now again, Suta Goswami replies in a way, because the discussion was between Parikshit Maharaj and Suta Goswami there. So he replies like Suta Goswami said to Parikshit Maharaj, after renunciating everything, Vidura went to forest and met Maitreya Rishi there. So, and the text 2, Yad va ayam mantra krad vo bhagwan akhileshwarah pauravendra graham hitra pravishwasamasat kartam. Translation. What else is there to say about the residential house of the Pandavas? Shri Krishna, the Lord of everything, acted as your minister. He used to enter that house as if it were his own, and he did not take any care of Duryodhana's house. So basically here Suta Goswami says to Parikshit that because Parikshit Maharaj were descendants of Krishna, so he says that inspired the Pandavas' palace was with the presence of Lord Krishna, and Vidura left it, and Krishna was already present there, and so still Vidura left it. So I can read further in the purport because it is described more elaborate there. According to Gaudiya Achintya Bheda Tattva philosophy, anything which satisfies the senses of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, is also Krishna. For example, Sri Vrindavan Dham is non-different from Krishna. Tad Dhama Vrindavanam. Because at Vrindavana, the Lord enjoys the transcendental bliss of his internal potency. Similarly, the house of Pandavas was also the source of transcendental bliss for the Lord. It is mentioned here that the Lord identified the house with his own self. Thus, the house of the Pandavas was as good as Vrindavana, and Vidura should not have given up that place of transcendental bliss. Therefore, the reason for his quitting the house was not exactly family misunderstanding. Rather, Vidura took the opportunity to meet Sri Maitreya and discuss transcendental knowledge. For a saintly person like Vidura, any disturbance due to worldly affairs is insignificant. Such disturbances, however, are sometimes favorable for higher realization, and therefore Vidura took advantage of a family misunderstanding in order to meet Maitreya Rishi. So in this text too, it is mentioned that Pandava's house itself was like a Vaikuntha because Krishna himself was present there, and it is also given in the puppet that whatever satisfies the Krishna's senses, Krishna is itself Krishna, because to satisfy Krishna, it has to be equally like Krishna. Nothing can satisfy Krishna less than him. So if the Dham, even the Vrindavan Dham is not different from Krishna. So similarly, the Pandava's palace is here mentioned as, and it was equal to Vrindavan Dham. So being being located at, resided at that place, like where Krishna himself was there, still why did Vidura left such place? As Vidura, there was some family quarrel between Duryodhana and Vidura, but it is given in this text too that that was not the reason that Vidura actually left, because of the family disputes, because Vidura was very highly elevated saint, and for highly elevated saints such disturbances are very insignificant actually. And so he did not left actually because of family disputes. It was he took the advantage of that situation, and ultimately he met the Maitreya Rishi to gain the transcendental knowledge and to discuss more about the Supreme. That all things will come later in this chapter. So we'll come to know more about what actually Vidura and Maitreya Rishi discussed about. Those all things will come later in this chapter. Till now, it is given that it was not the reason, family dispute was not the reason why Vidura left actually. It was Krishna's plan so that Vidura can meet the Maitreya Rishi as a guru, so that he can they both can discuss about Lord and transcendental things. That was the main reason why Krishna planned this for Vidura. That's it, Mataji, about text 2. And anyone else want to add anything, kindly please share.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rushali Mataji, for reading. Yeah, it was a very nice purport.
Yeah.
Rushali Mataji,
It's very nice to hear from you. Thank you for the nice explanation. I don't have anything to add or say today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. I just want to add one thing in this. I was hearing lectures, so sages asked the 3 important questions. Why did Vidura left? renunciating everything, and they inquired about if he left everything and went to forest, and after that why did he came back after so many years, why did he came back. And third question was, what was the actual discussion between Vidura and Maitreya Rishi. So these are the three questions we will be discussing throughout this canto, and we'll come to know further about it.
Thank you, Mataji, for your very nice class, for all the background information, especially at the beginning. I appreciated that. So what I got out of this is that holy places, such as Vrindavan, Mayapur, the temple, even at home, where we have our deities, our altar, or where we chant, they're all considered holy places, and how it's our responsibility to, because they are Krishna, it's our responsibility to respect them and keep them clean, and etc. I was hearing a class by Urmila Devidasi, and she was saying how she had went to this one place of pilgrimage that was on the Yamuna, and she was walking up to the edge, and she was like, what are these different types of fruit that are on these trees? She couldn't figure it out. And she went up to a devotee and she said, what are these fruits? They're so strange. I've never seen anything quite like this. And, Yamuna, it was a place of pilgrimage, non-different from Krishna. And the devotee turned around and said, well, people come here and they get the brahmanas to give, to do fire sacrifices. And when the pots that they do them in, what they do is they cover it with plastic. And the trays, they also cover it with colored plastic. And what happens is, after the sacrifice, the yagna, they throw the plate and the pot inside the Yamuna. And what happens is it washes up and somehow it blows into the tree. And she was just saying how, places like, places of pilgrimage. Yeah, I've seen also, oh my gosh, videos of Vrindavan, how up on the shoreline, there's just so much plastic and trash, and how as devotees we should really care for, because it's non-different than Krishna. And I'm going to allow other people to talk, and then if there's extra time at the end, I have a pastime here, and it has to do with why Radharani created Sri Navadvip Dham. I thought that might, because we're talking about different dhams, and I thought that might be interesting for me to read that. But I'll allow other people to respond also, and then if there's time at the end, I'll read. So again, thank you, Mataji, for your very nice class.
Thank you, Mataji.
Is anybody else on the class that would like to speak?
This is Govardhan Leela, and Shanti Mataji's on the call with me, and I just want to say thank you very much for your beautiful class. At the moment, I don't have anything to add, but I'm going to mute, and if I have something later, I'll unmute. Thank you very much, Rushali Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Mataji, since we are on the topic, I can read a small paragraph from a book by Gurujan Prabhu, which is a commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. Before Manasi Ganga Mataji has she wants to read about Navadvip Dham, but I think that will be a slightly different topic. So since we are already on the topic, if everyone wants, I can read from there.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, this is chapter 1, questions by Vidura. Introduction, Vidura on pilgrimage, his meeting with Uddhav. Vidura entered the palace in Hastinapur, once his home, to preach. He hoped to free his half-brother, the blind, elderly, and feeble Dhritarashtra from his complacency. Dhritarashtra was fast approaching death. Vidura wanted to awaken him to the fact and to assist him in meeting a spiritual end to a life based on envy. Vidura's own life and realization had been honed razor sharp both by years of austerity and pilgrimage, and because he had heard the teachings of the great sage Maitreya. Vidura's words therefore cut at Dhritarashtra's heart like a blade. Sutta Goswami had previously described Vidura's dramatic entry into the Pandavas' capital in the 13th chapter of the first canto. He had then gone on to narrate the incidents leading up to King Parikshit meeting Sukadev Goswami. In the second canto, Sutta reiterates Sukadev's primary instructions about preparing for death. He also explained the universal creation, the Lord's descent as various avatars, the Bhagavatam's original 4 seed texts, and how those texts had been expanded into 10 topics. From the beginning of Canto 2 to its end, Sukadev focused his words on the inconceivably powerful Lord's transcendental relationship with the material world. At the end of Canto 2, Shaunaka, on behalf of the sages, had requested that they again discuss Vidura, who had traveled the world on pilgrimage. Let us know, please, what topics were discussed between Vidura and Maitreya, who talked on transcendental subjects, and what was inquired by Vidura and replied by Maitreya. Also, please let me know the reason for Vidura's giving up the connection of his family members and why he again came home. Please also let us know the activities of Vidura while he was in the palace of pilgrimage, in the places of pilgrimage. Srila Prabhupada stated in his purport to those texts that Sri Sukadev Goswami was narrating the topics of creation and destruction of the material world, but it appears that the rishis headed by Shaunaka were more inclined to hear of transcendental subjects which were on a higher level than the physical. Texts 1 through 24, Vidura remains on pilgrimage and meets Uddhav. Sutta first repeats Sukadev's glorification of the palace Vidura had rejected and reminds us that Sri Krishna himself had both visited the palace and lived there as if it were his own home. Why then had Vidura renounced it, forsaking security, position, family, and friends? He left because of the actions of the blind but ambitious Dhritarashtra and his foremost son, Duryodhana. Yudhishthira and the Pandavas had been once victims of crooked gambling match. They were subsequently exiled, but they had returned to claim a share of the kingdom. Dhritarashtra, however, had refused to restore to Yudhishthir even a fragment of his rightful kingdom. Rather, Duryodhana had declared, "We cannot spare even as much land as would hold the point of a needle." Even Krishna's attempts to reconcile, even Krishna's attempts at reconciliation failed to inspire a compromise. Dhritarashtra then called for Vidura's advice. He thought of Vidura as his sagacious half-brother, a man who spoke plain truth. Vidura did not give Dhritarashtra the advice he desired. Rather, he told Dhritarashtra to appease the noble Yudhishthir, a man without enemies. Disaster would await the Kuru dynasty should it maintain enmity towards Yudhishthir, his brothers, and their Lord Krishna. Vidura assured Dhritarashtra that Bhim would kill each of his 100 sons. Better Dhritarashtra returned to Yudhishthir his legitimate share of the kingdom. And Vidura added, Dhritarashtra should remove the root cause of this conflict, Duryodhana, offense personified, who was even envious of Krishna and therefore could not improve. Duryodhana was present during the meetings between Dhritarashtra and Vidur, and when he heard his uncle's words, he criticized Vidur harshly. Who asked him to come here? This son of a kept mistress. He is so crooked, and he spies in the interest of the enemy against those on whose support he has grown up. Toss him out of the palace immediately and leave him with only his breath. I think there is more, but I think we can stop here. And then, Manasikanga Mataji, would you like to read?
Okay, Mataji. So the connection here is actually to the purport, more so about how talking about the dams, and so it's not fully connected, but I just thought that this was interesting. So it's called Why Radharani created Sri Navadvipam, and Navadvip is the area around Mayapur. So the holy Dham descends with Sri Krishna and his associates and paraphernalia. Sri Mayapur Dham, however, was Sri Radharani's own creation to lure Krishna away from another gopi. In the Ananda Samhita, Shiva explains to Parvati why Srimati Radharani created merciful Sri Mayapur Dham. Lord Shiva told Parvati, as a bee plays in a lotus, Krishna was enjoying with Viraj in a pleasant forest groves of Vrindavan. Moon-faced, doe-eyed Radhika heard this news from one Saki and hastily ran to find Krishna. Seeing that Radharani was coming, Krishna suddenly disappeared and Viraj became a river. When Srimati Radharani arrived there, she could not find him. Absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, Radha began to think of how to attract him away from Viraj. She gathered her Sakis together between the Ganga and the Yamuna rivers. She created a beautiful place, decorated with creepers and trees and filled with male and female bumblebees. Deer and bucks were happily enjoying as they wandered about, and the whole area was filled with the fragrance of jasmine, malika, and malati flowers. That transcendental abode was adorned with tulsi forests and decorated with various groves. On Radha's order, the Ganga and Yamuna, with their pleasant water and banks, acted as a moat to protect the garden. Cupid himself, along with springtime, eternally resides there, and the birds constantly sing the auspicious name of Krishna. Radha, dressed in colorful cloth, then began to play a beautiful melody on a flute in order to attract Krishna. Attracted by that melody, Krishna appeared in that enchanting place. Radha, the attractor of Krishna's mind, seeing that Krishna had come, held his hand and experienced ecstatic delight. Then Krishna, understanding Radha's mood, spoke in a voice choked with love. "O lovely face Radha, you are my very life. There is no one more dear to me than you. Therefore, I will never leave you. Just for me, you have created this wonderful place. Staying with you, I will transform this place, filling it with new sakis and groves. The devotees will glorify this place as new Vrindavan. As this place is like an island, Dweep, the wise will call it Navadweep. By my order, all the holy places will reside here. Because you have created this place for my pleasure, I will live here eternally. Those people who come here and worship us will certainly attain our eternal service in the mood of the Sakis. O dear Radha, like Vrindavan, this place is extremely pure. If anyone comes here just once, he will obtain the results of going to all sacred places. He will quickly attain devotional service, which satisfies us. O Parvati, Lord Shiva continued, I have described to you the reason for the appearance of the Navadweep. When heard by mankind, this narration removes all sins and bestows devotional service. Whoever rises early in the morning and with devotion to Gora, recites or hears the story of Navadweep's creation, will certainly attain Gauranga. So I just thought it was kind of related in that it was talking about the Dham and a holy place. Just how Vrindavan and Mayapur are non-different, and just the creation of the story behind why Navadweep is a holy place. So just thought I'd share.
Thank you, Manasi Ganga Mataji. It was really beautiful. Rushali Mataji, what would you like us to do?
Sorry, Mataji?
What would you like us to do?
Mataji, you can suggest. Please.
Maybe if some other devotees want to share something. Everyone seems very peaceful and satisfied. Okay, if that's the case, then maybe we can end. Is that okay, Rushali Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai, Hare Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.